Hello. In this week's Torah portion, Vaera, miracles and magic abounds. Quotes, Aaron cast his staff before Pharaoh, and it became a serpent. Pharaoh's magicians did likewise, but Aaron's staff swallowed their staffs. Aaron struck the water that was in the Nile before the eyes of Pharaoh, and it turned to blood. And the necromancers of Egypt did likewise with their secret rites. And Aaron stretched forth his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt, and the necromancers did likewise. Aaron stretched forth his hand with his staff and struck the dust of the earth, and the lice were upon man and beasts, and the necromancers could not do likewise. So they said to Pharaoh, "It is the finger of God." Unquote. Supernatural events or beliefs are those that do not conform to our current understanding of the laws of nature. Our sources are full of apparently supernatural events caused by God and man. Many people strongly believe in the supernatural. What does the Torah say about it? The Torah seems to resolutely forbid engaging in supernatural activities. Quote, "There shall not be found among you anyone who uses divination, or a soothsayer, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a medium, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For those who do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. For these nations listen to soothsayers and to diviners, but as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do so." Unquote. It even goes so far as to say, "You shall not suffer a witch to live." Unquote. Yet some of these practices are tolerated, sometimes even viewed positively. The Talmud even accepts those that clearly have no tie to idolatry. Let's review them. First, necromancy. It means communicating with the dead, especially to predict the future. There is an instance of that in the Bible, the episode of the witch of Endor. Quote, "And the prophet Samuel was dead. King Saul had expelled the mediums and the wizard out of the land. Yet when Saul saw the camp of the Philistines, he was afraid, and inquired of the Lord, but the Lord did not answer him. So Saul went to the witch of Endor and said, 'Bring me up Samuel.' She did. Samuel came up and said to Saul, 'Why have you disturbed me?' And Saul answered, 'I am greatly distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God has departed from me.' Then Samuel said, 'Tomorrow you and your sons shall be with me, and the Lord shall deliver the camp of Israel into the hands of the Philistines.'" Unquote. So, in distress, Saul forgets his own principles and seeks a necromancer. Now, foretelling the future is not possible given our current understanding of physics. The uncertainty principle in quantum mechanics precludes such predictions. Besides, commandments are meaningless if people don't have free will. Nevertheless, this belief is not totally denied in Judaism. The Code of Jewish Law says, quote, "It is permitted to make a dying person swear to return after his death in order to convey some information he will be asked. And some permit an attempt to do this even after the person has died, provided that he does not conjure the actual corpse, but the ghost of the dead man." Unquote. Note that there is no promise the attempt will be successful, though. Second, there is the matter of the evil eye, or ayin hara in Hebrew. Some rabbis in the Talmud warned that your good fortune will cause envy, and this envy will cause harm to fall upon you. So they enjoined us not to advertise our good fortune. However, some said this concern applies to Gentiles but not to Jews. To wit, when a woman tried to cast a spell on Rabbi Hanina, he said, quote, "Try as you will not succeed, for it is written in the Torah, there is none else beside God." Unquote. A common Jewish expression is kenahora, a corruption of ken ayin hara, meaning let there be no evil eye. Amulets abound to ward off the evil eye, such as blue pearls or the hand of Fatima. Third, extrasensory perception, or ESP. The prophets of old were believed to enjoy special powers, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, and senses beyond the senses. However, the age of prophecy ended with Malachi 2,500 years ago. Some modern experiments have claimed a scientific basis for ESP, but no solid evidence was found. It is theoretically possible that unknown powers of the mind exist, but without controlled reproducibility, nothing can be said about them. Next is faith healing. Healing diseases by religious faith was practiced in the days of the Talmud. The Baal Shem Tov, the 18th century founder of Hasidism, used it by laying his hands on the sick while pronouncing the secret name of God, whence his name, Baal Shem Tov, master of the good name. In 1916, Rabbi Alfred G. Moses wrote an influential book called Jewish Science, Divine Healing in Judaism, which was followed in 1922 by the founding of the Society of Jewish Science by Rabbi Morris Lichtenstein. Bernard Malamud's story, The Silver Crown, popularized faith healing. The power of the mind over the body is real. It is verified every day when new drugs are tested. It is called the placebo effect. One group of patients gets nothing, another group gets the experimental drug, and a third group gets a placebo, which is just a sugar pill with no drugs in it. It is found that many patients who get the placebo show an improvement in their condition because they believe they got the new drug. The new drug cannot be certified as effective unless many more patients get better with it than patients who get the placebo. In general, Judaism recognizes the healing power of spiritual faith, but disapproves of cults that deny reality. Next, let us tackle demons. Demons, or shedim in Hebrew, are supernatural malevolent beings. The Talmud accepts their existence. Rationalistic rabbis such as Maimonides, Saadia Gaon, or Ibn Ezra deny their existence. They are now considered only midot hasidut, or customs of the pious, and belief in them is optional. Apparently, Abraham was familiar with supernatural practices. The Torah says, quote, Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, unquote. The Talmud elaborates, quote, what gifts? Rabbi Jeremiah bar Abba said he gave them the secrets of Tumah, that is, impure powers, such as the knowledge of sorcery, demons, etc., unquote. Next comes astrology, a very popular belief even to this day. The prophets scoffed at astrologers. Yet a large number of Talmudic rabbis believed that stars influence our destinies. Some said the stars influence Gentiles, but not Jews. Some said one could change what the stars decree by being virtuous. Many Talmudic rabbis believed every living thing has a guiding star, even a blade of grass. Josephus tells us that astrology was common among Jews 2,000 years ago, and even that Jewish interpretation of celestial signs was partly responsible for the disastrous revolt against Rome. Among the giants in the Jewish world, Maimonides alone very strongly opposed belief in astrology. In that, he went against the tide of his time and later or earlier times. Without mincing words, he said, quote, astrology is a disease, not a science. Only fools and charlatans lend value to it, unquote. Yet, despite his great prestige, his criticism of astrology had practically no influence on subsequent Jewish writers. Nevertheless, Jewish law takes a clear stand against astrology. The Shulchan Aruch says, quote, one should not consult astrologers, nor should one cast lots to determine the future, unquote. Needless to say, modern science has vindicated this position and made astrology highly unlikely to make accurate predictions. Next is superstition. Maimonides hated all superstition with a passion but made allowances to set people's minds at ease. He wrote, quote, "A person bitten by a scorpion or serpent may whisper a charm over the wound even on the Sabbath in order to settle his mind and to strengthen his heart. The thing is of no avail whatsoever, but since he's in danger, he is permitted to do it, so he won't feel troubled. Those who whisper upon a wound a charm consisting of verses from the Torah, or who read such verses over a child to save it from fear, or who place beside an infant a Torah scroll or tefillin to make him sleep, are not only guilty of superstition, but are among those who deny the Torah. They treat the words of the Torah as mere bodily medicine, whereas they are spiritual medicine." Unquote. In another example, the Talmud says that if a woman's first two husbands die, she must not marry again because it would bring bad luck to the third husband. However, Maimonides adds that if the woman has married again anyway, the marriage is valid and her third husband need not divorce her. He also stressed that the mezuzah must contain only the Shema, which the Torah says must be inscribed on the doorpost of your house. Quote, "Those who write upon the mezuzah the names of angels have no share in the world to come. Not only do these fools fail to carry out the divine precepts, but they treat the religious duty of proclaiming the unity of God and acknowledging the love and service due to Him as though it provided them with an amulet for their own profits." Unquote. Ironically, his own synagogue in Egypt, the 10th century Maimonides synagogue in Yeshiva, Bet Knesset HaRambam, has traditionally been considered to have miraculous healing powers. Ailing local Jews slept in an underground room, hoping to dream of Maimonides and get better. I grew up in Cairo, Egypt myself, and although I'm not aware that anyone in my family ever went to Maimonides synagogue to get cured, I have seen many superstitious customs, such as placing lumps of sugar in the ark among the Torah scrolls, then putting the sugar in the sick person's tea, hoping it will effect a miraculous cure. A joint study by the University of Texas and Northwestern University concluded that people have a visceral need for order, even if that order is imaginary. So, those who feel a lack of control try to impose one through superstitious beliefs. Full disclosure, I am a theoretical physicist and I have no faith in superstition. However, I'm always in favor of testing things out under controlled conditions. So far, these tests have revealed nothing real in the supernatural. Shabbat Shalom.